we're gonna tax them. 25% on unrealized gains. That's gonna crash the entire economy.
Bro, you ain't got 100 million.
Huh? No, her plan would crash the stock market. That hurts working people. It hurts everyone.
Bro, you complaining. You ain't even got 100 million, bro. Bro, why you worried?
Well, because...
You think you gotta pay the wolf down? Bro, you don't got 100 million, bro. No.
You don't understand. My concern is that forcing the best performing stockholders to sell off 25% of their earning shares would completely crash the market forever. And all we stand to gain is enough to pay for less than 1% of Kamala's proposed budget.
Bro.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You don't got 100 million, bro. No. You don't know you don't got 100 million, bro. No, you don't got 100 million.
Okay, the best case scenario, best case, it raises enough to fund the government for less than 3 days. 3 days! That's what you want to risk the entire economy on. 3 days of revenue.
Bro,
you understand?
Bro, you ain't listening. Bro, I'm telling you. Bro, you ain't listen. I ain't got 100 million. Bro, it's not you. This guy think he got 100 million.
Everything.
I know.
That 1% of the budget. What are you not understanding? This has consequences for the entire economy. Everyone's going to 401k will crash. All of the capital's going to move, and we have the largest stock market in the world. Do you understand that? Economists don't like this idea.
Those economists got 100 million?
No, they don't.
Okay, bro, we gotta talk about this. Let's have a discussion. All right, guys, what's up? Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political channel, and we're gonna do a series of videos post-election discussion and try to help people who are very, very upset that those of us who did not vote for Kamala Harris kind of understand what went wrong or what could possibly have gone wrong for this landslide election to have been the outcome that maybe many people weren't expecting. And so I'm going to cover several different issues that are illustrated by these great cartoons from Freedom Tunes. You have to check them out. This is from TikTok. And this is one of the issues that prevented me from casting a vote for Kamala Harris or the Democratic Party. And for me, I vote for specific issues that have the most impact on my life. And investment is one of those issues. And so during the election, if you don't remember, one of the proposals that the Democrats brought to us through Kamala Harris, and it might not have been even her own idea. I kind of tend to think that this was an idea that was forced on her and not something she came up with, because I don't think she fundamentally understands this issue and what the impact would be. So in this cute little cartoon, we see the bros ganging up on the poor nerdy guy that has an investment portfolio, where he's saying that the idea to tax unrealized gains would hurt him. But the bros say, well, you don't even have $100 million, bro. So why would it affect you? So in the proposal, apparently you had to be at a certain income level, maybe 400,000 or more, or, be 100 millionaire before this proposed tax rule would affect you. And that's where we have the misunderstanding. So hopefully I can kind of explain to you from my own standpoint and experience how this would affect me personally. All right. So in my example, I have investments. A few stocks, but I'm mainly into crypto. I have one cryptocurrency project that I've an investment in called Kaspa, Kaspa. You can go look it up. It's a blockchain. And for those of you who don't know what that is, a blockchain is a digital ledger that exists on the World Wide Web. So instead of doing a ledger like in a notebook, a paper ledger, banks will put their ledgers on a computer, on a database. Well, instead of keeping a ledger on a database, the new technology is that you can do an open ledger that the world can see that is based on the internet. And it can't be hacked, it can't be changed or modified, and everybody can see what's going on. Caspa is one of the projects that made a blockchain that could be the foundation for like the entire credit card network. Or say utility companies out west are starting to invest into Caspa so that they can move their entire financial database onto the blockchain instead of the traditional banking system and the old Cobalt based servers that host the digital ledgers where we pay our bills and all the transactions are tracked and all of that good stuff. Well, I put $400 into this project, and that $400 right now today is worth about $12,000. So I've had a monumental gain in just 2.5 years, right? And next year, this time, my investment could be worth anywhere from a few $100,000 to over $1 million. Now, the proposal was that Kamala Harris and the Democrats would tax you on unrealized gains. So in other words, I've already gained $12,000 on paper. I haven't sold it yet, but unrealized gains means how much have you gained before you even sold off your investment? It could be in a stock or a crypto. So according to them, if I have my Caspa investment this year and it rises up to $12,000 in value, I could be taxed on that unrealized gain, right? But now I don't fit the criteria, so I wouldn't have to pay that tax because I'm not worth, I'm not making $400,000 a year or have the $100 million or, whatever that the requirements are, because they're only proposing to tax the mega rich with this unrealized gains thing. Well, it still affects me, and I'll explain to you how. As the bros were saying, you don't even have $100 million, so you wouldn't have to pay this unrealized gains tax. But what he's trying to explain is the fact that the people who would be subject to this tax, they're going to sell off their investments to cover those gains. So let's say Billy Bob Brubank owns $1 million of Caspa and he's worth $100 million. And then Kamala Harris makes it into the office of the presidency and they pass the bill to tax his unrealized gains. So Billy Bob would have to pay a tax if his investment went up, say $10 million. They're saying 25% of that you owe as a tax, even though you didn't sell the investment. Well, what if he doesn't have the 25% of that $10 million, which comes to $2.5 billion? If he doesn't have that in cash sitting in the bank, the only thing he could do would be to sell off a fourth of his portfolio to pay the tax. Now, if he's a big whale, which is a large holder of an investment, he's a whale, and he sells 1/4 of his Caspa holdings to pay his $2.5 billion tax, all of that selling will cause the price to plummet. So where my Caspa is worth $12,000 right now and on the rise, that value is going to plummet. So after the big rich whales start selling off 25% of their Caspa, the price is going to go down. And then my portfolio, which today is worth $12,000 of Caspa, it might go way down. It might go to rock bottom. It might sink all the way down to the price of where it was when I first bought it. because when you have more selling going on than buying, economics says that the demand is going down, so the price is going to go down. So after they sell off, my $12,000 portfolio might be worth, say, $1,000. So then that affects me. So then next year, when I want to sell my CASPA investment, instead of cashing out for $1 million, I might be cashing out for a few $1,000s. So that means if she were to pass such a proposal, it would be the difference in a windfall investment, a windfall in my financial situation, where I'd be able to retire my wife, take care of my kids, get completely out of debt, or having a few $1,000s. So I can't vote for that because it would change my entire financial future. Okay, so what about all of the people who are depending on their investment portfolios to retire? In other words, the people who have a 401k, because they take a certain amount of their paychecks every month and it goes into an investment portfolio that the government says we're not going to tax you on until you retire. And then once you retire, you can live off of those gains and pay income tax on it at that point. Well, if all the 100 millionaires, the billionaires in the United States that own these big fat portfolios of stocks on the stock market, once they are hit with the tax on unrealized gains, they're all going to sell off their holdings because they don't have an incentive to keep investments in the stock market because the government will take the gains away. The reason they're there in the first place is because it's a hedge against inflation. It protects the value of their financial situation, the value of their portfolio, and it provides them with a means of making money. Okay? And so when the government comes in and says, we're going to tax that heavily, they're going to sell it off. And that means that the prices of all the stocks on the stock market will plummet. They'll go straight to the toilet. When that happens, all of the hardworking people that have been putting away money on a monthly basis into their 401k, which is a stock portfolio that is protected against income tax until they retire. It's a tax-deferred investment strategy, right? By the time they're ready to retire, their portfolios are going to go down quite considerably. In fact, they'll crash. So then when they're ready to retire, that 401k ain't going to be worth jack squat. Okay? So a lot of working class people won't be able to retire if such a tax policy were to be enacted. So for that reason, a lot of people felt like they could not vote for Kamala Harris because it would mean their ruination and it would destroy their chances of retiring and living on that retirement income. So there's no personal harm meant to Kamala Harris in voting against her for that reason. It's just because we couldn't afford to support that idea. We couldn't afford to support something that would crush our dreams, our American dreams, which is invest and then make gains in the stock market and be able to retire after working hard your entire life. I'm 57 years old, and so I still work hard. I retired from the state, and I live on a small state retirement income, and then I own 5 businesses. But I don't want to continue working hard like I do right now. In 10 years, I want to just relax and sit at home and watch TV and live off of my investments. But that won't happen if a tax on unrealized gains were to be passed by the Congress after such a proposal is brought forth by the President of the United States. And so I don't have any ill feelings, or I don't wish harm upon anyone for coming up with that idea. It doesn't mean that I hate Kamala Harris or don't like her, or that I don't respect black women or couldn't support a black woman for president. No, it means that I want my $1 million investment so I can take care of my black family and my black wife children and black grandchildren, right? So I'm not being a misogynist or a bigot or whatever. I don't know how that's possible, me being a black man who has a black wife and daughters and granddaughters, and a person who loves and supports his mother, who worked all her life to raise me. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that I have to do what's best for me in my financial situation, and that's why I had to vote for Donald Trump. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who despise Donald Trump and have Trump derangement syndrome, which I'm going to get into the psychology of that. And so maybe this will help people understand who hate Donald Trump, who are outraged, who are spitting, cussing, crying, stomping, and losing their minds, and are so disgusted with the American public for voting him into office. What? Maybe it'll help you understand, well, why some of us voted him in. And this is one of the reasons. I'm not concerned with the allegations of Donald Trump as a racist, or he's going to be a dictator, or, all of the stories about, well, he's a fascist, Jew-hating Hitler, blah, 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 all of that. No, he's going to protect my financial future. So I had to vote for him in that regard. There are certain policies and beliefs about economy, about the way we make a living that I have to vote for. And it has nothing to do with anybody's personality. There's nothing personal about it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to have this red MAGA hat running around, representing the Trump cult, the MAGA cult. No, it doesn't. It just means that I have to do what's best for me and my family. And voting for Donald Trump means that I'm protecting my financial future and doing what I need to do to financially empower my children and the generations that come after me. Okay. So all of that rhetoric just goes it goes out the window for me. I can't consider any of that. I don't mind. Donald Trump's not going to come into my house and call me a name or talk about black jobs and, piss me off or anything like that. He's not going to be a dictator coming and telling me what to do. No, he's going to protect my financial future, and that's why I had to cast my vote. This is one of those reasons, and there are many others, so I'm going to continue on with this series and just try to give you the answer, because a lot of the people who voted for Kamala want to know, why did you vote for Trump? And so hopefully this gives you a little bit of understanding. And if you're a Democrat, I want you to let me know in the comments if this kind of helps you to understand that. Post your thoughts and let me know. Can you understand that? Can you allow people like me the ability to stand by our decisions to protect our own financial future? And does that make you feel a little bit better about why we voted for Donald Trump? So that's all I got for this one. Stay tuned. I got so much more coming your way. This is Carlton, and I am out.